Hey everyone, Dan at Ochiko Bushcraft. Hope you're all doing well out there. Today I wanted to share with you guys one of my favorite ways to make a quick and easy meal when I'm out here using the Esbit cook set. Now there's two situations where you don't want to have a fire or can't have a fire. One, fire season. Here in the Ochikos, every year, usually sometime around June or July, for the next 3-4 months, campfires are illegal. You cannot have a campfire. So, your normal method of getting your bushcraft pot out and hanging a meal over a fire from a tripod, or, getting your stainless steel canteen cut right down in the flames, off limits. Other situation, maybe it's a crazy time. For whatever reason, you need to keep a low signature. You don't want smoke going up. You don't want people seeing your flames, but you need a hot meal. So the little Esbit cook set works absolutely perfect for both those situations. I'm going to break this down for you guys, and then I'm going to show you how to use it to cook an MRE. And I'll get to that here in a minute. But it comes in a little stuff sack, and the little plastic wrappers that it comes in when you buy the kit, I recommend you save those so that every time you use your kit, you can put it back in these bags and it'll just keep from getting black on things. You don't end up with black on your hands, black on your cup. It just keeps everything separate from the rest of your gear. Okay, so you've got your little cup or stove, or actually pot, excuse me, stove's inside, has a lid, and inside another little stuff sack. And by the way, there is a little pouring notch right here and measurements on the inside and on the outside so that you can see exactly the right amount of water. Maybe you're doing a mountain house meal, you need 12 ounces of water, you got a line for 12, you got a line for 8, you got a line for 16. And the stove has its own little stuff sack. Again, save the plastic wrapper. My stove's in the plastic wrapper. And what I like to do is keep my stove filled up with the fuel tabs. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 in here. There's room for 8 or 9 at least. So that's 8 or 9 hot meals. And another little trick that I do at home is I'll get a couple pieces of heavy duty tin foil and fold them up into little squares like this. I haven't used this one yet. This is the one that I've been using. I've used it 3 or 4 times. It's still good. By putting that down right in the bottom of your stove, there's that little square where your cube goes. Putting that in there, it protects your stove so that you don't get any of that black sticky junk that you end up having to clean up later. It all ends up on this little piece of tin foil, which you can just discard after a half a dozen uses and then put in a new one. This is just a way to make life simpler. And I'm gonna actually set that up right there. Okay, quick tip on MREs before I get to cooking. I like to do mountain house meals, cook up some, a cup of soup or a cup of stew, noodles, whatever in this little cup. It'll hold a 16-ounce can just fine. But I also like to do MREs. I like to throw together these little kits in my backpack. I've got an MRE main meal in here. This one is marinara with meatballs. I'll throw in a packet of Spam so that I've got more meat. I throw in usually an MRE dessert, crackers, side dish. I got crackers and cheese spread with bacon in this one. And I'll throw in some of these little emergency drink mixes, some MRE toilet paper, maybe some salt and pepper, whatever else I'm thinking that I want to have with me. But if you're going to cook an MRE out here, and it's not fire, or it's fire season, or for whatever reason you can't have a fire, so you need to cook your MRE. Most people will pack MRE heaters. These things are expensive. For half the money, or even less, I think, if you buy them in bulk, you can get Esbit fuel tabs. So rather than using an MRE heater, stuffing it down in the sack, pouring water in here, hoping that you didn't get a dud, waiting for it to boil and stuff, just take your little Esbit fuel tab, get your stove going, take your MRE, put it right in here, show you guys, along with some water. Put your cheese or whatever sauce you have in there as well, because I like hot melted cheese. Squeeze that down in there a little bit. I'll put water in there, set that on there. This thing will sit and boil. I'll pull this out and I'll have a hot MRE for far less investment than buying an MRE heater. Okay guys, I'm gonna rock back to the truck real quick because I left my bottle sitting over at the pickup, and not very smart. So hang with me for just a second while I pause you guys. Sorry about that, guys. I think I've done over 80 of these videos, and this is the first time I've been in the middle of a video and realized I forgot something and had to walk back to the pickup. So 80 in one's not too bad of a record. If it was professional sports, it'd be pretty good. But I'd left my little Pathfinder bottle of water sitting over at the pickup, and I had to walk back and get it. So let's fire this up, guys, and show you what we got going on. All right, get some water ready. As I said, I'm gonna heat the MRE up. Now I'll just set it there. That'll work. So we'll get fire going, and then I'll put that right on top of the fire, and within a few minutes that water around that MRE will be boiling, and I'll have me a hot lunch. Okay, can you guys see that? Yep. I'll turn this just for a second. Windproof, waterproof matches always in my pocket. Get that little tablet going. Okay. Don't know if you guys can see that. Turn it here before it gets too hot. It's going. And that sits in there nice and snug. There we go. So I don't know if the flame's kind of blue, so I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but it's going good. That tablet will take right off, and I've done this a lot out here. And in a few minutes I'll have a hot lunch. The other thing nice about this little kit, in the winter I like to have hot cocoa, and sometimes I'll go ahead and cook my cocoa right over my campfire. Other times I'm out on a hike and I just want to stop and make a quick cup of cocoa. So if you put this little lid down over 8 or 12 ounces of water, it will boil fairly quickly. Now if you leave the lid off, I've had to use in the winter 2 tablets, one side by side with the other one, in order to get the water to boil. But with the lid on, I haven't had a problem getting a cup of water to boil on a single tablet for a cup of hot cocoa. So probably take a couple minutes here. Got my spork with me, and we'll get that opened up, have a hot lunch. It's nice out here today. But like I said, I got my cheese sitting down in here, so I will have hot cheese sauce on top of my crackers. And my MRE, the top of the pouch here is empty. I've squeezed everything down so it's down in the water. So it's gonna just take a couple minutes of heating. So I'm gonna go ahead, guys, and take a quick timeout so you don't have to sit here and watch this thing boil. What do they say? A watched pot doesn't boil. Well, it'll boil, but it's gonna be a long, not a long wait, but a boring wait to just sit here and stare at this for the next 5 minutes waiting for it to boil. So I'm going to take a quick break, give you guys a little pause, and then come back in just a couple minutes. The water will be boiling. Open this up and have some lunch. Okay guys, I'm back on. So I only took about 2-minute time out just to clean my area up a little bit. I had all my stuff spread out all over here, and I didn't want to be kicking stuff around. But it's only been about 2 minutes, and I hope you can see it on camera, but the steam is already rolling off the water. It's going to be boiling in the next couple minutes. So it was going to come out to probably about 5 or 6 minutes. Let it boil for another minute or so. I mean, I won't even use all of the tab. I can actually put the tablet out and save it, wrap it up in a piece of tin foil and light it later, or throw it in my fire starting kit, use it for emergency tinder like a cotton ball, you know, whatever. But hopefully you guys can see that steam coming up off there. Anyway, it's, what is it, mid-April? Still kind of in lockdown where we're at, but they have not closed the woods, thankfully. Passed a lot of campsites out in the woods today. Just a lot of people out camping and getting away from town, getting away from the news, obviously, and trying to get a little peace and joy back in their life. I imagine that's, you know, what I'm doing out here, trying to get some peace and joy back in my life. Just, you get burned out on the news and everything that's going on with this stuff. So come out here. There was snow up here just a week ago, and we've had some days in the 70s. There's still snow in a few shady spots, but for the most part, snow's melted. It's drying out. Squirrels are out running around. A pair of woodpeckers were back here behind the camera a few minutes ago, banging on the trees. So it's that time of year. Spring is here, summer's on its way, and a couple months from now it will be fire season, and when I want to have a hot meal, this little setup will pretty much be mandatory. My days of hanging a bush pot or canteen cup over a fire will be put to rest for a little while. So anyway, really hope you guys can see that steam coming up out of the pot. It's hard to tell from back here looking into the camera whether you guys are going to be able to see it, but it's steaming really good, and it's got little bubbles forming, so it's right on the edge of boiling. I'm just going to give it one more minute, and I'm going to go ahead and open it up, because it will be plenty warm to eat. I could wait another minute or two and let it get really hot, but a day like this, I don't need it. If it was cold out here, I'd get it really hot. I don't know how you guys are doing on your MREs and backpackers meals and things. For a while, they were pretty hard to get a hold of for a few weeks. Everybody was kind of going nuts and stockpiling, you know, all the sites like Mountain House and stuff were completely sold out. There's still back orders on a lot of stuff. MREs were gone. At least in my area, I've been able to find everything on the shelves again. So that's nice to see. Nice to see stuff coming back. And hopefully you guys are able to get what you need so that when this lockdown ends, you've got, your goodies to take to the woods with you. All right, guys, I got a real light boil going. Like I said, I'd probably, if it was cold out here, I'd leave it on for a couple more minutes. There's still a few more minutes left on that tab. But I'm going to go ahead and take my main course out, my cheese. I'll just leave it sit in here because I like hot melted cheese. Hot. Let's see. I'll wipe this off of the pine needles there. All right. Yeah, definitely warm. Almost too hot to grab. It was at first. Wiping it through the cooler pine needles and grass down here. Cool the bag down enough that I can touch it. Okay. Let's open this up. Meatballs and marinara sauce. Oh, absolutely delicious. I've heard some people say they can't stand MREs, but I think the newer MREs like these, beef stew, chili, are amazing. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, can you see the steam? Steam's coming out of the bag right now. I'm stirring it up. Yeah, it's steaming. It's nice and hot. That's good. That's very good. Guys, thanks for tuning in to Ochiko Bushcraft again. I hope that for you guys who are fans of MREs and have been stuck buying the pouches, will find this little tip useful. Like I said, one of those Esbit tabs, if you buy them, in bigger boxes, costs about half as much, maybe even a third as much as an MRE heater. So it's a heck of a lot cheaper way to heat your MREs. And not only that, whatever else you got with you that you want hot. I got my cheese in here. If you had some more pouches or side dishes or anything that you wanted, it's just a quick, easy way to do a meal. So anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and hope you all get to get out there soon and enjoy this spring and summer weather. Take care.